At around 2 p.m. on March 23, 2015, a strange 911 call came through to the Vallejo, California police. The caller, sounding either drunk or drugged, claimed his girlfriend had been kidnapped. His story was confusing and didn't add up. When officers arrived at his home, the man who answered the door looked distressed, and there was a strange, almost chemical smell inside. Despite his bizarre story about attackers in wetsuits with lasers, the police launched a serious investigation because indeed, his girlfriend was missing. What they would soon uncover was even stranger than the initial call had suggested. The day before, on March 22nd, Denise Huskins, a 29-year-old with a PhD in physical therapy, was settling in for a quiet night alone in her Vallejo apartment. Her relationship with Aaron Quinn, a colleague from Kaiser Hospital, where they both worked, was on the rocks. Despite being off again, Aaron sent her a text pleading to talk. Denise, feeling uneasy and preferring to stay in, texted back that it would have to wait. Aaron persisted, sending another immediate text. Denise and Aaron had started dating the previous fall after meeting at the hospital. They connected deeply, sharing intense conversations and interests. However, their relationship had stumbled from the start. Aaron had just ended an engagement due to his fiancé's infidelity when he met Denise, making her feel like a rebound at times. After discovering Aaron's texts to his ex-fiancée, Denise felt betrayed and declared their relationship over. Now, Aaron was bombarding her with messages, refusing to take no for an answer. Denise finally responded, suggesting they meet another time and that Aaron should focus on winning her trust back through proper dates, not rushed meetups at his place. Aaron insisted, claiming he had something important to discuss and could only do so at his home. Reluctantly, Denise agreed, hoping to possibly reconcile. She picked up pizza on her way to Aaron's house, arriving around 5:30 p.m., optimistic about their conversation. The next morning, both were absent from work. Aaron called in sick, and Denise texted her boss about a sudden family emergency, an unusual move for her, especially with a critical fellowship application due that week. Her boss, puzzled by her uncharacteristic absence, responded supportively, but grew concerned when Denise didn't reply, suggesting her situation was indeed dire. Around 2 p.m. on a Monday, Aaron Quinn called 911 with a slurred voice, telling a confusing tale of a kidnapping and pleading for help. Quickly responding, 2 police officers were at Aaron's door on Mare Island within minutes. When Aaron opened the door, the officers noticed several alarming things. Aaron appeared to be either drunk or high. There were numerous empty beer bottles against a kitchen wall, and the house was filled with the strong odor of cleaning chemicals. One officer immediately questioned if Aaron was on drugs. Aaron admitted he was, but claimed the drugs were forced on him by the kidnappers. The officers exchanged wary looks and decided to search the house. As they moved upstairs, the smell of cleaning chemicals grew stronger. They entered the master bedroom to find the carpet freshly vacuumed and the room smelling intensely of cleaners. All the bed sheets were missing, except for the fitted sheet that remained on the mattress. As the officers were about to leave the master bedroom to continue their search, one of them paused, spotting something alarming on the bed. He called his partner over, and together they noticed a significant, quart-sized drop of blood on the fitted sheet. With this new clue, they headed back downstairs to confront Aaron again. Approaching Aaron, who was still visibly under the influence, the officers demanded he clarify his story about the supposed kidnappers. Aaron, through slurred speech, launched into an even more bizarre narrative. He claimed that around 3 a.m. that same day, he and Denise were at home when men in wetsuits suddenly broke in. These intruders quickly restrained both Aaron and Denise, blindfolded them with taped-up goggles, and subjected them to a chaotic scene filled with guns, tasers, laser pointers, and blinding flashlights. Aaron continued, explaining that after securing them, the kidnappers placed headphones on each of them. These headphones played a recording of soothing music, overlaid with a voice reassuring them that they were not in danger, but caught in a robbery. The voice instructed them to remain calm and assured them that no harm would come if they complied. Aaron recounted that he and Denise had complied with the intruders' commands, separating into different rooms as instructed. There, they were forced to divulge their banking information and passwords. After providing what the kidnappers demanded, Aaron and Denise were brought back together in the living room, restrained once more. Though unable to see, Aaron and Denise heard someone enter the room, seemingly a doctor, who took their blood pressure and then administered a drug that induced drowsiness. Before succumbing to the effects of the drug, Aaron heard the intruders take Denise away. They warned him that they had installed cameras in the house to monitor him, preventing any attempt to rescue Denise. Aaron remained in the house, eventually falling asleep under the influence of the drug. Upon waking and freeing himself from his restraints, he discovered Denise was indeed missing. Convinced she was with the kidnappers, Aaron made the 911 call in a desperate state. Throughout his explanation, Aaron's speech was slurred, his story convoluted and bizarre, forcing the officers to repeatedly ask him to clarify his statements. By the end of his recount, the officers were left in stunned silence, trying to make sense of the strange and troubling tale. As the officers exchanged silent glances, a shared suspicion silently filled the room. They both thought that Aaron might have murdered Denise. The house reeked of cleaning chemicals, suggesting a hurried attempt to clean up after a crime. The empty beer bottles seemed to underscore a narrative of guilt and self-medication, perhaps Aaron's way of coping with his actions. His erratic, drunken demeanor and the fantastical story of kidnappers dressed in wetsuits added to their doubts about his innocence. Finally, one officer broke the silence, informing Aaron that he needed to come to the police station for a more detailed explanation of his story. The Vallejo police swiftly organized a comprehensive search across Mare Island, expecting to recover Denise's body rather than find her alive. They deployed search dogs, dive teams, and enlisted the help of hundreds of volunteers, scouring the area for any sign of her. At the police station, investigators pressed Aaron for every conceivable detail about the supposed kidnappers. Despite their skepticism about his kidnapping claim, they had to exhaust all possibilities to officially rule it out. They needed descriptions, behaviors, anything that could be verified or disproven. The community and law enforcement braced themselves for the grim possibility that they were searching not for a survivor, but for a victim of a tragic crime. As the Vallejo police pieced together Aaron's story, they also interviewed Denise's roommate to gain more insight into the relationship between Aaron and Denise. The roommate confirmed that the couple had been experiencing significant troubles and had reportedly ended their relationship. Confronted with this information at the station, Aaron was questioned about the status of his relationship with Denise. He insisted that Denise had come over to reconcile and that they had successfully done so before the alleged kidnapping occurred. According to Aaron, they were back together when the supposed intruders in wetsuits invaded his home. However, as investigators delved deeper, Aaron's kidnapping tale became increasingly implausible. One major inconsistency was Aaron's claim that he and Denise had been forced to hand over their banking information to the kidnappers. When police checked their banking records, they found no withdrawals or suspicious activities on Denise's account. Strangely, the only recent activity was on Aaron's account. He had called his credit card company 2 hours before dialing 911, attempting to secure a large cash advance to purchase a boat. This revelation added another layer of doubt to Aaron's already shaky narrative, casting further suspicion on his version of events as the investigation continued. When queried about the pungent chemical smell in his house, Aaron denied any involvement in cleaning it, claiming ignorance about how it happened. Additionally, he revealed to the police that the kidnappers had demanded a ransom, but only for $8,500, a sum that seemed disproportionately low for such a high-risk crime, which further perplexed the investigators. As the interrogation at the police station unfolded, another peculiar detail emerged. Aaron's pupils were notably dilated. Initially, the police considered drug use as a possible explanation, given that certain substances can cause such a physical reaction. However, as Aaron's outlandish narrative unfolded, the police started to suspect a different underlying issue, possibly a schizophrenic episode. Schizophrenia is a serious mental disorder that often manifests in young adults, with Aaron at 30 years old fitting the typical age profile for onset. Schizophrenia can induce paranoia, hallucinations, and severe mental disturbances, but does not inherently lead to violent behavior. Given the bizarre details of Aaron's account, men in wetsuits breaking into his house, taking blood pressure readings, and supposedly cleaning the place while orchestrating a kidnapping, it appeared increasingly likely to the investigators that Aaron might be experiencing a mental health crisis rather than recounting actual events. This theory aligned the strange elements of his story with potential symptoms of schizophrenia, providing a new lens through which to view the perplexing case. By 9 p.m. on March 23rd, 7 hours after Aaron's initial 911 call, the Vallejo police decided the complexities of the case warranted federal involvement, prompting them to call in the FBI. Given the mysterious circumstances surrounding Denise's disappearance, whether she had been kidnapped, injured, or worse, the local authorities needed additional expertise. Upon their arrival, the FBI's first step was to administer a polygraph test to Aaron, which he failed entirely. Confronting the results, Aaron chose to exercise his right to legal representation and obtained a lawyer. The search for Denise intensified on March 24th, with over 100 teams scouring Mare Island and the surrounding areas of Vallejo. Additionally, police sonar equipment detected what seemed to be a body-sized mass in the bay, although divers had yet to locate it. Meanwhile, Aaron, now accompanied by his lawyer, left the police station. Media coverage escalated, with Denise's image broadcast widely across news outlets and posted throughout the city. News crews stationed themselves outside Aaron's house, capturing every moment of activity. Despite the high level of engagement from both local police and the FBI, significant breakthroughs in the investigation remained elusive. The prevailing sentiment among the detectives and FBI agents was clear. Aaron was concealing something critical to the resolution of Denise's mysterious disappearance. On the afternoon of March 24th, as the investigation into Denise Huskin's disappearance thickened with confusion and tension, a twist emerged that propelled the case into further ambiguity. A reporter from the San Francisco Chronicle, stationed outside Aaron Quinn's residence, received an unexpected email purportedly from the kidnappers who had allegedly abducted Denise. The email contained a recording of Denise's voice, reading the day's news in a composed manner, suggesting she was alive and unharmed as of that morning. However, the content of the email raised immediate suspicions. Denise's voice, while confirming her safety, was unnervingly calm, as if narrating routine news without any sign of distress. Moreover, the email address used to send this message was traced back to Aaron, deepening the mystery and implicating him further in the unfolding drama. When police were informed of this development, they confronted Aaron, asking if the kidnappers had attempted any direct communication with him. Aaron affirmed they had and showed them his phone logs to substantiate his claim. However, when authorities traced the number Aaron attributed to the kidnappers, they discovered it was linked to a burner phone, a disposable device often used in activities requiring anonymity, such as illicit dealings, further complicating the narrative. This new information only intensified the investigators' suspicions. Not only did it suggest Aaron's involvement, but Denise's calm demeanor in the recording led them to speculate that she might also be complicit in the scheme. The case, already riddled with perplexities, veered into even murkier waters as the investigation continued to unravel the layers of what appeared to be a deeply convoluted incident. The complexities of the case continued to unfold as police made a significant breakthrough in tracking down the origin of the burner phone used by the supposed kidnappers. They discovered it was purchased from a Target store nearby. Reviewing the store's security footage from the time the phone was bought, they identified a man matching Aaron's description, tall, fit, and dark-haired, as the purchaser, cementing suspicions about his involvement. Just as the investigation deepened, another startling development occurred on March 25th. Denise Huskins reappeared, walking up to her mother's home in Huntington Beach, California, located about 400 miles south of Vallejo. Finding her mother not at home, Denise turned to a neighbor to use their phone to contact her father. Denise's account of her ordeal added another layer of intrigue. She claimed to have been held captive by 4 men in a small room, who told her their actions were merely the fulfillment of a client's task and part of their standard operating protocol. According to Denise, her captors treated her relatively well, allowing her basic comforts like food, water, and even showers. Initially, Denise seemed willing to discuss her experience with the Vallejo police. However, when they mentioned that the FBI wanted to interview her and were prepared to send a jet to transport her from Huntington Beach to Vallejo for questioning, she abruptly declined. Following Aaron's lead, Denise too lawyered up, ceasing all communication with the authorities. This sudden refusal to cooperate after such an unexpected return only deepened the mystery and fueled further speculation about the true nature of her disappearance and the bizarre circumstances surrounding it. As the bizarre circumstances around Denise Huskin's apparent abduction and unexpected return unfolded, skepticism among the investigating authorities grew. The story provided by Aaron and Denise, filled with inconsistencies and fantastical elements, led the Vallejo police to conclude publicly that the alleged kidnapping was likely a hoax. On the evening of March 25th, shortly after Denise was found, they held a press conference to communicate their doubts to the public, asserting that there was no imminent danger from supposed rogue kidnappers. This announcement, however, raised more questions than answers. Investigators were baffled as to why Aaron and Denise, both seemingly well-adjusted individuals with promising careers and stable backgrounds, would concoct such an elaborate scheme. The motives behind such a deception were unclear, leaving authorities and the community puzzled. The media, captivated by the twists and turns of the case, likened it to the plot of the popular film Gone Girl, where a woman stages her own kidnapping, adding a sensational angle to the ongoing coverage. Despite extensive investigative efforts, progress stalled, and for weeks there were no significant developments. Aaron and Denise maintained their innocence, sticking to their story through legal representatives and avoiding direct communication with the media or investigators. The case remained at a standstill, shrouded in mystery and speculation, until a crucial breakthrough on June 5, 2015, when new information finally began to shed light on the true events that had transpired, challenging the initial perceptions of the case. The breakthrough in the Gone Girl case came unexpectedly from Dublin, a town south of Vallejo, when a police officer discovered a key piece of evidence early one morning: a registered cell phone linked directly to an individual. This was not a disposable burner phone, but one that could be traced back to its owner. The trail led investigators 200 miles northeast of Vallejo to a remote cabin in South Lake Tahoe, California. Upon arrival at the cabin, the scene was set for a critical confrontation. Police found a stolen white Mustang parked outside, which belonged to a Vallejo resident, intensifying the suspicion that they were on the right track. Armed and cautious, with police dogs ready, the authorities breached the cabin door. Inside, they encountered a scene of disarray. Food wrappers, trash, and piles of clothes littered the space. More striking than the mess, however, were the items scattered amidst the chaos: laser pointers, high-powered flashlights, zip ties, and goggles that had been modified with tape to block vision. These items mirrored the bizarre details described in Aaron's account of the kidnapping. The man found inside the cabin was a tall, fit, white man with dark hair, bearing a physical resemblance to Aaron, but he was not Aaron. Remarkably, there was no prior connection between this man and either Aaron or Denise. He was a complete stranger to them, which added a new layer of complexity to the case. This discovery shifted the narrative of the investigation, suggesting that the bizarre kidnapping story might not have been a hoax after all. The presence of this unknown individual, equipped with items used in the alleged kidnapping, indicated that the threat had been real and external, involving parties previously unknown to Aaron and Denise. Matthew Mueller, the man responsible for the chaotic events surrounding Aaron and Denise, was a 38-year-old Harvard-trained lawyer and former Marine whose life had taken a drastic turn. After burning out from his legal career, Mueller embarked on a series of bizarre criminal activities. His arrest revealed that the seemingly outlandish kidnapping story described by Aaron and Denise was in fact true, albeit slightly misunderstood in the number of perpetrators involved. it had been Mueller alone, not a group, who orchestrated the entire scenario. Mueller's capture was a result of a serendipitous clue left behind during another of his criminal endeavors. On the night of June 5th, Mueller attempted to attack another couple in their home. The couple managed to fend him off, and in his haste to escape, Mueller dropped his cell phone, which was later found by a police officer in Dublin, California. This crucial piece of evidence led authorities directly to Mueller's hideout in South Lake Tahoe. Further investigation revealed that Aaron and Denise were not Mueller's first victims. His pattern of predation was established and meticulous. Mueller had been using a drone to surveil his targets for weeks, learning their daily routines and habits, which explained his detailed knowledge of their lives and his calculated approach to the kidnapping. Mueller's motivations for his crimes were complex. Despite his intellectual prowess and professional background, he was battling severe mental health issues, including psychosis and bipolar disorder. These conditions severely distorted his perception of reality, fueling his obsessions and driving his criminal behavior. His fixation on Aaron and Denise was part of a broader pattern of delusion and meticulous planning, underlining the unpredictable and dangerous nature of his actions. Aaron, upon learning of Mueller's extensive surveillance that included drone spying, recalled a night just before the kidnapping when he spotted a glinting light in the sky, resembling a drone. At the time, the sight was unusual, but not alarming enough to linger in his mind, given he had no reason to suspect he was being targeted by a potential criminal. The preparatory phase for Mueller involved 3 weeks of meticulous observation using his drone, after which he executed his planned abduction. On the night of the kidnapping, dressed in a wetsuit, Mueller invaded Aaron's home. He subdued both Aaron and Denise, blindfolding them with taped goggles to obscure their vision and placing headphones over their ears. These headphones played soothing music interspersed with assurances that they were only being robbed and needed to stay calm. Tragically, the situation escalated as Mueller sexually assaulted Denise while Aaron was incapacitated. This pattern of assault was not unique to Denise. Another victim later came forward with a similar harrowing account of Mueller's brutality. After the assault, Mueller abducted Denise, leaving Aaron drugged and bound. Upon waking and freeing himself from his restraints, still disoriented from the drugs, Aaron's immediate concern was to secure Denise's safety. Believing he needed to gather the ransom money Mueller had mentioned, a sum of $8,500, Aaron rushed to arrange the funds, driven by desperation and the chaotic urgency of the situation. This sequence of events, fueled by fear and confusion, led to the initial bewildering 911 call and the subsequent unraveling of Mueller's crimes. In a state of panic and urgency to secure Denise's safety, Aaron called his credit card company to request an $8,500 cash advance, stating it was for buying a boat. However, this was merely a cover. The funds were intended as ransom for Denise's release. Fearful of exposing Denise to further danger, Aaron avoided mentioning the true purpose of the request to the credit card company. Aaron also took responsibility for notifying their workplace, Kaiser Hospital, that both he and Denise would be missing work, following instructions from Matthew Mueller. This was a coerced measure to maintain appearances and protect Denise, dictated by the kidnapper. Regarding the email sent to a San Francisco Chronicle reporter, which seemed to have come from Aaron's account, it was indeed sent by Mueller. He had used sophisticated software to hijack Aaron's email, manipulating the communication to further his deceptive plot. Denise's calm demeanor in the attached proof of life recording likely resulted from shock, masking the distress she was actually experiencing. The mysterious chemical smell in Aaron's house remains unexplained, speculated to have originated from Mueller, possibly cleaning the scene while Aaron and Denise were incapacitated and blindfolded. Matthew Mueller's criminal activities ultimately led to significant legal repercussions. He is currently serving a lengthy sentence in prison, totaling 71 years for both federal and state crimes related to the kidnapping. The severe impact of his actions led Aaron and Denise to successfully sue the city of Vallejo for their initial mistreatment during the investigation, winning a $2.5 million settlement. In a remarkable turn of events, Aaron and Denise's relationship, tested under extraordinary circumstances, culminated in marriage. They have since started a family and co-authored a book titled Victim F: From Crime Victims to Suspects to Survivors, detailing their harrowing journey from being wrongfully accused to vindicated survivors. This narrative not only highlights their resilience, but also casts a stark light on the complexities of crime, victimization, and the pursuit of justice.